The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello, and welcome to the Local Spin Podcast. Inside the minds of Western New York's most creative visionaries. My name's Custode, and over this series, we're going to take a look at what's going on in the artistic world in all of Western New York. Now, when I say the artistic world, I mean everything from the theater to fine arts to the performing arts to musicians. And the way I look at that is this is going to serve as a vehicle for some of our most creative individuals in Western New York to have a conversation with people in a manner in which they don't often do it. So I'm very, very excited about this first podcast that we're doing today, and this is all about how they do what they do and, more importantly, why they do it. I have two guests with me today that I'm very, very pleased to welcome into the studio, two people I've known for a very long time. One person in particular I've known for an extremely long time. But I have with me today Tom Vitello and my daughter Christina Custode. And they're here primarily to talk about one thing in particular, but we're going to open it up. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about a production that they're both very, very much involved with. It is the upcoming performance of Mamma Mia by the Niagara Proscenium Community Players of Niagara Falls High School. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tommy, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about when this thing is going off and what the show's about.
So our production opens up on November the 6th, and it runs for 6 performances, so November 6th, 7th, 8th, 14th at 7 p.m., and then also on the 15th, that Saturday, both at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Okay, so we have that out there, and your position with this upcoming production is you're the producer, right?
Producer, the vocal director, the music director, and co-director.
Okay, so you're wearing many hats for this one.
All these hats to wear.
Okay, and Christina, what's your involvement with this new show?
My involvement with this show is I'm thrilled to be playing Donna Sheridan, which is quite a different role for me. Donna is a mother and a performer and a musician, so there's a lot of similarities between Donna and myself, but there's a few things that are different for those that know the plot. I don't want to give any of the secrets away, but Donna has a pretty exciting and salacious past that comes back later in life, and it's really a joy to put myself kind of outside of my skin in this role. The cast is really phenomenal. And the cool thing about this cast, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, is that not only is it adults, faculty members, and alumni and community members, but there's also former students. So the girl who's actually playing my daughter, who is Sophie, I had the pleasure of teaching while she was at Niagara Falls High School. So it's really a fun opportunity to share the stage with former students, past alumni, faculty, colleagues, and staff.
And current students.
And current students, yeah. They're doing a great job.
Well, what I think is very, very interesting about the way this is set up is that it's a community theater group. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But I have to ask you, the Niagara Proscenium Community Players of Niagara Falls High, that's 10 words. What's going on? How did you come up with... And first of all, what is a proscenium? People think that it's a fruit or something.
Oh, he did it to me.
You have to explain that.
Okay, so the proscenium is the wall of the theater that separates the stage proper from the audience. So when the new school opened up, our former director, Kate Muldoon, she was, I believe it was Kate, came up with the name, the Niagara Proscenium Players, because they needed a generic name that was not Niagara Falls High School Drama Club, not LaSalle Senior High School Drama Club. They needed something that would incorporate the two without being favoritism to one school over the other. Mm-hmm. So that's how that came about. And now with it started as an alumni production, and we had the word alumni in there, and then we started branching out a little bit, so it became the community players, and so we incorporated it with our high school theater name and the the alumni group, and we just kind of morphed it all into one.
Well,
so
you
we ended up with
certainly
10
have
words.
enough descriptives in that title.
Well, I designed the posters, and we don't pay by the words, so there we go.
That makes sense then. Well, you two are probably two of the most vibrant people in the Niagara Falls theater scene. And I know that you've been involved in a lot of different productions along the way. And to be honest with you, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of being involved in two of them. The first one was Jesus Christ Superstar. That was October of 2019. And that was one of the best performances of that show that I have seen anywhere in any local theater.
It was a great show.
That
really was
was
great.
really, really phenomenal. And what was nice about that was the first time that you and I had the opportunity to play together in a different setting. Now, obviously, we play together on different gigs,
Sure.
Small gigs and stuff. But that was something different. And that was real. I'll never forget that. That was wonderful. Where I was positioned, you remember, I was up right where Judas bids farewell. It was up on a platform.
His leap.
Yeah, he did a leap. I had to move so that he could jump over me. But I'll never forget sitting up there. And the way that this was situated, the band was on the stage, as everybody remembers. Mm-hmm. And I looked down and I could see you in front doing the piano, and then Christina behind you doing the synthesizer parts and the organ parts and everything like that. And then I could look across and see the rest of the band. That was a tremendous show. That really was phenomenal.
Well, let's talk about you writing all the parts for that.
The horn parts with a pen and paper, just these tiny little horn parts.
I'll just say this: I was never involved in a production where I had to write out my entire part and play all the brass on
it was great.
So worth it.
It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, last year, Beautiful, the Carole King musical, last November. That was tremendous. And Christina, you had the opportunity to portray Carole King. And you did a wonderful job. People are still stopping me.
Still talk about it.
They're still talking about it. I can't go to a grocery store or a store and run into somebody without them talking about that beautiful play. So we have two, and I think we'll agree, those are two fairly difficult plays to do. Yeah. They're not easy.
They're big. Yeah. They're big. I was just going to say, it's very nice, and I share this with Tom whenever I can and the rest of the production staff. I feel very fortunate to be able to work with such a production team, because you talk about Superstar, I'm usually in the pit for a lot of stuff, and it took a lot for them to get me out of that pit. And when Beautiful came across our desks, it was the spring, the final show of our student musical. We were all sitting there having our faculty lunch or staff lunch with the kids, and everyone's feeling great because you just pulled off a great student musical. And I remember you said, they just posted it, we can do Beautiful. Yeah. And all three of the staff just looked at me. And I had a chicken cutlet. And I was like,
that's a true story.
Does this mean, will you? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And it's kind of interesting having been in the pit so much and being he's usually piano 1 and I'm usually piano 2 for these shows. Mm-hmm. And then having it flip and saying, well, Carol's piano 1, but the only other person that I'm trusting that backup piano to is you. So it was really a special show from the beginning, and I think because we just had such an open mind about it and went at it from a direction of we're going to tell Carol's story. We're going to tell the story of these musicians, these writers, and really bring them to life in a way that not many groups get to do, not many carols get to play. So having the freedom to extend those introductions and take my time the way Carol would do it if she was playing was a liberty that we were free to take. And I think that gave the show
was the first time that the show was ever
a
done
little
that
light.
way, right?
That we're aware of.
That we're aware of most of the productions, even in New York and on tour, and those actresses that played Carol faked playing it. Right. They looked so realistic, but we've had the opportunity. We know people who have been in contact with those actors, and they admitted that they're really good.
Live.
Yeah, they're not live. They're touching the keys, but they're not really playing live. It's coming from the
piano
pit.
parts are covered in the pit. And they're not like when you guys did it.
You
were doing it on the stage.
Right,
live.
and I remember going to our sound techs and explaining to them, and they said, you want to do what? And we said, well, we need a mic or we need some sort of a live line. And the best solution was to borrow a piano. Mm-hmm. We borrowed a piano and had it on wheels, and they put internal mics on the inside of it. But it was just such an out-of-the-box sort of approach to the show that I think gave it a little bit of light and a little bit of breath.
And the tech of that was a challenge in itself. You figure, professional productions, they have track systems and they have all of this wiring that's built under the stage that can move with the tracks. We don't have that at a high school. We were at the mercy of wireless microphones that you would normally wear, like an actor would wear, mounted inside, and
mounted.
And it worked. That was the thing. It worked.
Did. It really did work.
Show. And I know because I was there for
yeah,
every
you
show.
were.
So, it was one of those things where it was just a marvel. But let's go back to something you just said. You said at a high school. So every time I hear somebody say that, I think of, okay, these are kids, and they're not professional performers, and they do a great job, but they're kids. But every time I see one of these Niagara Proscenium community players at Niagara Falls High School shows, et cetera, you're not adding any more to that title. I say this is not a school production. This is, nobody's getting paid, but it's a professional show. It's probably the most vibrant theater in all of Niagara County. You have to. I'll go online right now and say that you got to go to Buffalo to find anything comparable or better. You're not going to find it in Niagara County. These shows are, in fact, okay. After Beautiful, people would come up to me and say, "I didn't know it was this." I said, "What do you mean you didn't know it was this?" So I thought it was a school production. I said, "Well, it is. There's kids and this and that and the other thing." I said, "No, this was a professional show." And I keep hearing that over and over and over.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah. So this was born out of what theater group? Where did this start?
You mean the alumni productions, the community
go
productions?
Go back to the beginning, because I don't think it's where you started with the Niagara Experience players way back.
No,
then.
I was a transplant. I wasn't
that's true.
I wasn't part of Niagara Falls High School. A lot of people think because our family went through the Falls and was through Niagara Falls High School. I went through the Niagara Wheatfield school system, but a lot of my friends were part of the community shows in Niagara Falls, so they brought me over, and so I grew up with all of the Falls theater kids doing their theater productions, but I wasn't part of the proper high school productions, and I think this came from the two buildings when they merged. That was kind of the idea.
Yeah, I think so. And even those community productions, those summer productions that we used to do, it was even before the two schools merged. But a lot of the kids that went to the two Falls high schools at the time participated in that summer program.
Sure.
So it was like the summertime combined the two drama clubs almost. So a lot of those young actors and actresses and singers and dancers got a chance to perform together. Then when the schools merged, everybody was together. And so the summer program, the Niagara Fine Arts program, was an extension of the school year and what we were doing on stage. What we're talking about in terms of these community productions really came from, started as a joke actually. We were all out at Wine on Third one night. A bunch of friends were in town from New York, and we were having cocktails one evening, and we just kind of jokingly said, "Oh, we should do an alumni production of Jesus Christ Superstar." Well, that set the wheels in motion.
Also set the bar pretty damn high.
Well, yeah.
Say, what a first show.
Actually, we decided, well, maybe it's a little bit too big to start off with. So we did a musical review first. We did Smokey Joe's Cafe, the Lieber and Stoller tunes.
Yeah.
So we started with that, and we kind of got our feet wet and see, what's the response going to be? Are people going to come out and audition? Will people come out and support this kind of an idea? Because there's other community groups that are out there. The Niagara Falls Little Theater, which is Niagara Regional Theater.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Theater in the Mist.
Sure.
There's lots of theater production companies. So would the community respond to another company? And they did. They did.
It just seems so much bigger. It's funny you mentioned the Niagara Falls Little Theater. When I was young, I actually played 2 or 3 shows for them. And it was a stripped-down band. It was like piano, drum, and me.
Right.
It was really very, very small. But they did a good job way back then. Mm-hmm. And they're still here, called the Niagara Theater?
They're still going strong. I think they're the Niagara Regional Theater Guild.
Okay.
I think that's what they're called now. And I don't know where they're performing out of. I know for a while they were at the Riv. And they were also at one of the private schools.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it is, but I know they've moved around to various spaces, but they're still going strong. I know they always have a very ambitious season, and they have a great following as well, and it's great. People think that theater companies are in competition. That's not what it's about. It's about creating art and bringing art to the community that may not have a chance to be able to afford to go to New York or to go to Shays and get season tickets or 710 Main and all those things. And we try to set the bar real high. We have a good group of professionals that we all work with, and we try to make our program, even though it's community, as close to the real thing and as professional as possible, to bring that experience to the audiences and to bring it to the actors, and especially the young actors that are the current students, to see what it's like beyond high school, that they can still stay involved, that there is more than just 4 years of high school drama club. They can stay with it all of their lives if they want to.
So that's why it's important to the community, right? So that you're kind of Exhibit A, even though you're not in school anymore, but you're there to inspire the next generation to go and say, well, wait a minute, even if I don't go into this thing full on and make a career out of it, I could still do it on a regular basis and get out there. And I will say this, from my associations with both of those shows, I see people that are extremely dedicated to what they're doing. They don't take this stuff lightly.
No.
They're working hard. They want to make it the best performance that they possibly can. It's kind of the whole genesis of a show, from my perspective, is kind of special, and it's not so much like that with like other performing arts with bands. Everybody gets together and they live and breathe and just
it becomes a family.
Yes. And and you have all those little dynamics going throughout the whole thing that families have as well. But the thing about it is everybody is so close. I never seen intimacy at that level. You don't just see it in other things, right? It's something you really don't understand until you're actually behind stage and you see it happening.
And then closing night hits, and it feels like the bottom fell out. Like you feel like you just broke up.
Absolutely. I also feel like that's something really special to share with kids, like you just said. Like, you're right, we're doing this in a high school, and we're doing this on our own time. Like you said, no one's getting paid. We're all just volunteering our time to make this the best that we can. And I think that's really important for young kids and artists to see that we're doing this because we want to and because it's important. And every choice you make leading up to when that curtain opens affects everybody else around you and the success of the show. And you are important, and you matter, and we need you. Right? And like, you have a direct influence on the outcome. How many things in life do you work so hard at and it seems like it doesn't matter? Right? This is a beautiful correlation for those students to see, hey, I just saw my band teacher, who I didn't even know could sing, get up there, put on 4 different wigs, right? Do all of these crazy things. They're going to absolutely split aside when they see those shoes you have me in this year. And I'm obviously outside of my comfort zone, and it's not perfect all the time. And there's things that are going to come up and happen, but I think it's really important for our kids to see us go through that process, keep fighting, keep trying, do our best, and work together as a team. Yeah. It's not just, an individual thing, where some musical endeavors can be very individual. Putting on a show and a production from the person at the very top, every single person, that production staff, to every single person on that stage, is so vital. And I think that's what makes it feel like a family, because you're looking out for each other and you're working and you want everybody to do so well.
And depending on the show, it can be a very big family. Like this show really only calls for like 22, 24 people. We're pushing between about 45 to 50 people in this production.
And it's great.
Plus the behind the scenes people. So it's a lot.
Sure.
It's a big production.
We actually started with, I think, 63.
You know what? That's a good place to break, and we'll come back and we'll be picking that up there. I see from our producer over there we have to pay some bills. So let's go do that, and we'll come back. We'll pick up where we left off.
Great.
Make wellness products are formulated and designed to work in harmony with your body to boost energy, enhance focus, optimize metabolism, and support muscle recovery. Whether you're looking to sharpen your mind, fuel your workouts, or achieve lasting wellness, Make wellness supplements provide targeted solutions backed by science and clean ingredients.
Welcome back to the Local Spin, inside the minds of Western New York's most creative visionaries. I have two of them with me right now today. Tommy Vitello, Christina Custode. We are talking about the theater atmosphere at Niagara Falls High School with the Niagara Proscenium Community Players of Niagara Falls High School. I want to make sure that I get that name right. But it's more than that. And in the last segment, we were talking about how it really seems like it's a very, very professional production. Everything is very professional, and the stage is beautiful, and the theater itself is pretty much state of the art. And a lot of local theater companies don't have that, so that's something that's really nice. But just as we broke, you said, well, this show really calls for like 22, 23 people, and we have like 40 people. 43, I think you said. So that speaks directly to the program and how important the program is for the community. Why? Because you have twice as many people. That's not twice as many leads. That's twice as many like company members and things like that. They're learning the art of the theater, yes?
Yeah, I mean, we always approach these shows. We never say, it's about Carole King, it's about Donna Sheridan as those leads. It's about the ensemble. It's an ensemble piece. Everybody is just as important as the main character of the show. So, if there's a way to build in more people into a scene, we try to do that. Whether, it's just coming on stage and doing a crossover, or just being extras in the background and just acting, and we like to a lot of times leave it to the characters to say, what feels right to you? What would you do if you were in this town or in this room? How would you be acting in real life? Mm-hmm. Do what feels right. And if we don't like it, or if it's too much or not enough, we'll let you know. But find your character. Find the person you're playing.
The average person doesn't believe that. They don't believe that the person who is not the lead is taking it as seriously as the person who's the lead.
Yeah.
They just don't believe it.
They have to, or the show doesn't go off. Right. That's the secret, I think, to a successful show.
Remember the sound man in... That kid took that so seriously, and he wanted to, and he did.
And he did a wonderful job. That's how you get a show to feel like it's real, because everybody is in it. It's not like, these three people are really serious, and then, I'm not important, I'm just in the background. Absolutely not. There is no such thing as, I hate when background, like, it's the cast. It's all of us. And that's what I think really brings those scenes to life, is because they have their own storylines, and the production crew works so hard with them to say, okay, like, what are you doing in this scene? Like, who are you? Who is your character? And giving people that creative leeway to establish something is where you get some of the best things I've ever seen. They just come up with because people know themselves, and they know what they're comfortable with. They know their strengths. They know how they would react, or their expressions, or their body language, their mannerisms. And when the whole cast does that, it just takes a show from here just straight up.
And they're all very, very serious about what they're doing. Yeah. They don't want to go out there and fall.
Right.
Right? And it's a lot of work, right? So, again, I say the average person says, okay, well, Tommy Vitello is the producer. What does the producer do?
What doesn't the producer do?
Well, let's just lay it out there.
In the real world of theater, the producer is the financial guy, the people that come up with the money to get the show off the ground. I'm not doing that. I mean, I find the money to put it together, but in our specific situation, the producer is the one that's responsible for the business end of things, for securing the rights and royalties that we have to pay for in order to put these productions on, for making sure everything is in line with the box office and the concession stands and the cast party and the T-shirts and the etc. All of that stuff falls under the producer's job. In our specific situation, other production companies may have a different role for the producer, but that's what we do because someone's got it's huge. It's a lot to manage. If I were to show you my checklist that I have hanging in my classroom, because this is not what I do. I'm a Spanish teacher by day. This is the hobby. It's a heck of a hobby, but it's a hobby. But I have a checklist that is literally 4 pages put together that I created on Excel with all of these different things that I have to check off to make sure that I've done all these things before the production opens.
So was that something that you found, or did you create that?
It was experience. It was just trial and error, doing it for the first time when we made the transition from a previous director to our current director. And I became, because I was the previous director, and then I morphed into the production end of things. So I had to find, okay, so what are we doing? Okay, I know these things have to be done. And then it's like, uh-oh, we still have to do this. I forgot about that. So I started making this list so that it became more systematic to make sure we didn't leave any stone unturned when we do these productions. Because, like I said, it's so much to manage. And then when we do these community shows, take the producer hat off now. I'm the vocal director and I'm the music director. And this time I'm the co-director. So it's a lot to manage. And if I don't have that checklist, I'm going to leave something out somewhere. And that's just not me. I'm uber nerdy about stuff like that, but
I think that makes your
cast contributes to the success.
I was gonna say, I think that makes your cast feel so comfortable because we know it's taken care of, everything's buttoned up, and we're good to go.
Right.
There's not one person in that cast that is nervous about any of that, and they can just focus on what they're doing, and I think that's really nice.
Well, speaking of what they're doing, you're doing a different role this time than you did last time. And I always thought it was kind of an interesting thing. I mean, how do you switch gears like that? I mean, the last time you were portraying one of the best musical icons of the 70s, beautiful singer-songwriter Carole King. Now it's a completely different role. So when you go into something like that, what do? You just look at that person and try to become that person?
Well, it's different for everybody, right? I spend a lot of time with the script. A lot of time reading the script, and some people will like to watch other examples, right? Okay. Mamma Mia, for example, very popular movie. Meryl Streep, right? She's the Donna Sheridan that everybody associates with. And there's all these wonderful people that have played Donna on Broadway, and there's all these clips floating around. And sure, you watch different productions and try to see, like, how did this person phrase this? Or do I like that mannerism? Do I like how this is going? But at the end of the day, it's you and the script, and it's your version of that story. So I think most actors, they read the script, take in all the information, and a lot of it depends on the chemistry of the people around you, too. That's so important. There's so many things that you play around with, how to say different things, and how is she feeling, and what's happening right now, and where are her eyes, what is she paying attention to, where's her focus, what's her external focus, what's her internal focus, right? As you're building this character and this person around the bones of yourself, because it's not you anymore. And then you put another actor in front of you, and there's this wonderful exchange that happens. And suddenly how you thought you were going to say that line or move your hand changes just in the slightest way. And it kind of ricochets off of the people around you. And I think that's the most exciting part about being back into theater, is that not only is it not me, what a relief. It's not Christina Custode, right? When I'm on that stage, I'm somebody else. I'm telling somebody else's story, which is a beautiful thing. And then on top of it, I get to respond to the entire cast and adapt in real time. And that's such a creative and exciting thing to be able to do.
So you just said something about that, you're no longer Christina Custode up there. Last year when you did Beautiful, you were playing, as Lou said, you were playing this iconic singer, Carole King, a real person that everybody knows.
Yeah.
What is different about the process of this show versus last year now that you're playing someone fictitious? Like, did you have to do something different to dig into that real person versus the fictitious person?
I'm glad you asked that, because I did. I watched countless interviews of Carole, her mannerisms, how she talked. I listened to her audiobook, Natural Woman, and I bought the one that was narrated by her, so I could hear her cadence and I could hear how she sang and how she spoke. Interviews, I read several books on her life. I did a lot of true research in a way, as someone would do research for a presentation, because when you're playing somebody that is a real person, it's your duty to represent that person to the best of your ability. Where with Donna, I can be a little bit more free. There's a little bit more interpretation.
Because you don't need to hold true to that person.
100%. A really great example is when Carole plays the piano, she has a very distinct, it's like forearms and her shoulders. And I don't move. I'm like a brick wall, which is also going to be fun to see me dance in these heels. But I'm pretty still when I play. I'm not a very emotive, I don't rock back and forth, and she is so buoyant in her head and her face, and I just remember working in front of my mirror.
Like I do.
It's a workout. I remember sitting at my piano with my mirror and just like trying to get my body to mimic how she played, and not only later in life, but finding pictures of her young, because I picked up Carole when she was 16,
right?
And I carried her life from 16 to her
mid-30s,
late 20s, early 30s. Tapestry, right?
Tapestry was what, 71?
71. So that's a whole lot of life. So there's a lot of I don't want to say older Carole, but there's a lot of mature Carole. You can find a lot of videos of her, because for a long time, again, she was a songwriter. So to find her playing and singing when she's young, and to find that spunk and that fire, it's not there. So it took a lot of deep diving to find, looking at photographs. How does she sit? Where are her hands? It was always right leg over left every single time. And so just picking up on those little cues from even photographs, I think, it's a much different process becoming Carole than it's going to be to become Donna.
And when you're actually on a stage doing it, what are you thinking of? Are you thinking of like execution? Are you thinking of, I got to hit this note, or I got to hit that spot? What do you think? Or does it just come because you did all of the rehearsals and the prep? Does it just fall in line? Or are you thinking, you know what, I got to hit an E at the end of this song and it's got to be strong? That's my last note.
I think by the time the show comes in, we all fall into a rhythm and we fall into a cadence. And a lot of it does come really, I don't want to say naturally, but just almost out of habit, right? Because you've done it so many times. And so a lot of that minute adjustment that you're talking about falls by the wayside until something goes wrong. The minute something doesn't go as anticipated, it's almost like
rehearsed,
or right? even the slightest thing. Somebody, drops something and your focus is broken for just a slight second.
And that's all it takes. All it takes is, and now where'd that come from?
Right. So you kind of learn to pull yourself out, stay on your own side of the wall. But in that moment, it's almost like everybody's skill set comes up, because you're like, oh, we're up. And then it lands back in. But it's, again, that, I don't want to say hive, because I keep bees. And so, but there is almost like this hive spidey sense where someone in the cast will feel it. We feel it. We're over it. Okay, take a breath. Like, we made it.
Then we're back on track.
And then we're back on track. There are certainly things and times where you're like, I gotta deliver this. I'm gonna hit this scene right tonight. I'm gonna really make this one land. You go in with those intent, and you set that for yourself at the beginning of the show, and then, it plays out. And sometimes you hit it, and sometimes you're like, you know what, I got 2 more shows. I'm not done. We're never done working. I think people think that when you come to a show opening night, that's as good as it's going to get, and that's what it is.
They're all different.
Every single show is different, and I think that's because we, as characters and as people, like you said when we started this conversation, everybody really wants to do their best. So if something doesn't land or isn't right, we'll be backstage. Hey, can we go over scene 2 really quick? I didn't like that timing and that cadence. All right, we're going to try it again tomorrow night. That's great. Can you get here a little early? Like, we are constantly trying to just improve and push and keep exceeding.
Mm-hmm. And so you're both educators by trade.
Yes.
Tommy, you're Spanish
Teacher.
How many years have you been doing that?
This is my 27th year of teaching.
27 years.
I've been in the district 20 years.
20 years. And how many students will you see a day?
I think this year I have about 110.
110 throughout the course of a day.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina, you're also a music educator.
Yes, I am.
All right. And chair of the department.
Yes.
So you're teaching how many children a day?
There's about 110 in our program altogether. Within a day, I'll probably see 75, but they rotate.
Yeah, so that right there is a tremendous responsibility, right? I mean, you have all these minds that you're trying to mold and keep them on track and teach them certain skills, and not everybody learns at the same pace. So this whole theater thing that you're doing takes an awful lot of time and an awful lot of effort, and it's above and beyond what you do for a profession. So why do you do it?
Because we love our art, number one. Number two, we love working with kids. And I think, and I can probably speak for Christina, we grew up loving music, loving theater, loving what we do. And I think a big part of spending as much time as we do on these projects, we want to show the kids that passion that we have for the art, the love that we have for the art, and show them there's something there. There's something there. It's more than just hanging out after school. Buy into it. See, and I guess we're leading by example by doing these shows and performing in them. Of course, I'm not an actor, on the musician end of it.
You're still performing.
But it's still, you're
it's
right.
A little
It's
different,
still
but
it's different.
Yeah.
When I tell my kids in my class, oh, come and see Beautiful, I'm the music director and I'm playing piano on stage. They're like, what? I'm like, well, yeah, I play piano. Really? And then they come and see the show and they're like, oh, you play the piano.
Yeah.
So I guess they more or less expect it from you because you work in the music field all day long. You teach music. So I think it's more of a natural, like, oh, yeah, she does this thing. But for a Spanish teacher, they look at you like, come on, I can't, you weren't really playing. Yeah. So I guess we want to pass on our passion, our love that we experienced growing up and now do it, I don't want to say in some ways for a living, but what we do is a big part of our lives. We want to share that passion with them to inspire them to become us when we finally say, we've had enough, we're moving on, and now it's your time to take the lead. You're going to become a teacher. You can do this too. You don't have to go to Juilliard to do
the opportunity still exists.
The opportunity is there. You can do this. You can be a Spanish teacher, and if you love this, you can get involved, and you can pass on your passion to a future generation down the road. And I think that's a big part of it. Is the the response you get from the kids, the gratitude you get from the kids, they just appreciate the time and the dedication that you put in. And then just watching them create and their final product, we feel like proud parents.
Would you have anything in addition to add?
I agree. I think it's important, like you said, for music teachers, performing arts teachers to, in a way, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Big Exhibit A.
And I think it's important for them to see their band teacher who, you're right, teaches trumpet, flute, clarinet, all the woodwinds, waves my arms, counts, does the marching band, all the things, make sure everybody does what they're supposed to do. And I hold my kids to such a high standard. Like you said, we hold our program to a standard, and we're constantly telling them, you have to go in and you just do the best you can do every single day, and you give it your all. And if it's not good, then you go work on it, and you go back and you try again tomorrow, and you don't give up, and you just keep trying to get better. And I think when they actually see their teacher who tells them in rehearsal and who flips their lines around and then says, oh, I got to do that again. And then, hey, can we do that? And they see that person put it into practice. And then if they come see the show, they're going to see the direct result that, like, hey, holding myself accountable, showing up when it matters, and trying my hardest makes a difference. And I think if we can instill that in them, if it's in the arts, wonderful. That's the best case scenario. Mm-hmm. If it's in another vocation or something else in their life, great. Just that.
It's the work ethic.
It's the work ethic, and it's the, like I said earlier, the fact that everybody matters, everyone's important, and you got to try your hardest, and you got to know your stuff, right? It's not just showing up and phoning it in and saying, oh yeah, I did that. I checked the box on the resume. It was good enough. It's that standard that there is no good enough. You keep pushing yourself as adults, as artists, as musicians, as humans. You just keep trying to hold yourself accountable and do better every day.
And it's important to see them, like, they expect, okay, it's Christina Custode. She can sing. She can play the piano. So she just walks in and plays Carole King. No, it's important that these kids see
the rehearsal.
The hours of rehearsal time. I mean, even before we got with the cast rehearsing, how many hours did you and I spend just making sure we were in sync so that when we put the band with you and the rest of the cast with you, we were locked in. And it was important for the cast to see the crazy amount of time and rehearsal time and doing and redoing and perfecting, because that's teaching them the work ethic. That's teaching them to have passion for what they do.
Yeah, it's applicable all across the board,
and
too.
And
if they don't decide to go into
everything.
Music, they could still apply it in other areas in their life.
Everything.
1,000,000%.
Okay, so as we're winding up here, let's get into the production of Mamma Mia. Let's just talk about that as we finish up. I know that we talked about it at the beginning, let everybody know when it was going to be, and I'm sure that we have things up on the screen to let everybody know what's happening. But the bottom line is this. Let's talk about that in this next segment. Where are you right now? How's the show coming together? What can people expect to see? You want to give an overview of the story, certainly. Whatever you want to talk about, just let's get into the nitty-gritty of that for the last segment.
Well, I think we're getting close to the home stretch here. We have the rest of this week, and then we have Tech Week next week, which is crazy week for us when we put all of the lights and the sound and the projected images and microphones and makeup and costumes and bears, oh my. We put all of that stuff together. But right now it's about running the show. It's about marrying the acting and the singing and the dancing and running those acts rather than individual scenes or individual numbers. It's about running it and getting a flow and seeing, okay, where are the holes in all of this? What do we need to go back and fix and fill in? And how can, as I said earlier in the segment, how can we build in those extra ensemble members to fill in the scenes and get them more involved beyond what's on the page?
So Tech Week is this is it. You're coming into Tech Week, and right after that you do the show. And I swear to you, every production I've ever been involved with for my entire life, whether it was high school through college and, stepping back into this thing, it looks a mess. Until
Usually, yes.
until the day before opening night, everybody's walking around like this is never going to happen. Mm-hmm. Is it like that with every time?
Every show.
I never seen anything like it. We're looking at each other like this. They can't do this show. They're not even close.
That's what happened to all my hair.
But then when it comes down to it, though, like magically, it all comes together.
And each night of rehearsal during Tech Week, the show grows by 20%, or 25%. It just grows by leaps and bounds.
I think you get your best results in that week coming into the finish line.
And I think some of it has to do with the pressure. Like, the pressure's really on. There's no more next week. We'll get it next week. We've got 24 hours.
Yeah, and from someone who's on the stage, too, what really makes a difference is everything you said that you add. Your mics, you can hear the music clearly. You can hear yourself. You are in full character. It's no longer me, but I'm Donna for 5 minutes, right? When you come into Tech Week, the minute you get in there, you're in character. And I think that really brings everybody up because they're not looking at me. I'm not looking at Ken as Ken. Now it's Sam. That's who that is, and it looks like him. And the suit matches the voice, matches everything, and that brings everybody's performance up when you get to see it.
Right.
Because when you're in it, you don't get to see it. I didn't see Beautiful. I was in it. I sang and played the whole show. I didn't see a minute of it.
That's a different perspective.
And it wasn't until months after that I watched the playback that I texted the cast and I said, you were incredible. Like, I felt what we were doing was so great. But when you're in the show, you don't see the show. And the only thing we get to see is each other. It's like a world in a world. And I think seeing and hearing everybody with the sound and the lights and the makeup and the costumes. Yes, it's stressful and everybody's losing their mind because things don't fit and things are tight and, oh my gosh, I don't have time to make this costume change and where's my wig? So pressures are high, but when you're finally out there and you look at each other, you see the show from the inside out. And we just get a chance to see a little bit of the show during Tech Week because once the audience is there,
we're off and running.
We're off and running.
The technical's over and you're into the art part of it. So a brief synopsis of the show without giving too much away?
Sure. So Donna Sheridan has a young daughter, Sophie, and Sophie is getting married.
Okay.
And Sophie does not know who her dad is. She finds her mom's old diary and very rudely reads it, contacts the three men, and they arrive to the island for this wedding, unbeknownst to her mother and the rest of the guests and her mother's friends and the whole 9 yards. And the plot
just
unfolds from there.
Right.
I don't want to give.
Yeah, don't give.
I don't want to give too much away.
And music's by ABBA, right?
Yes, and so Donna, they work that in, and it's really kind of brilliant when you look at how they turned the music into the show, right? Because the music came first, and then they wrote the show around it. So very clever how they did it. But Donna, in her teen years, was part of a girl group, a disco dance group. Donna and the Dynamos. So that's where you get a lot of the ABBA hits, were Donna and the Dynamos.
Is it all ABBA music?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
And entire score.
Now, let me ask you this, because I don't know. I don't know the show at all. So all the music was written before this show, and they just kind of like pieced everything in together?
Yeah, there were some lyric changes to make the songs fit tighter into the show.
Very small.
But I remember the first time I heard the Broadway soundtrack, I'm like, are you sure this isn't the ABBA tunes that they just put on a sound? But it's tight.
Okay.
It's really,
really well done.
Who could we look forward to seeing in the show?
So obviously Christina's in there. We have some.
So you're Donna Sheridan.
She's Donna.
Yes.
And then who is Sophie?
Emma Cook.
Okay, and you said that she was one of your students at one point,
so
right?
Emma Cook was she was in choir when Veronica Schucker was there. She was in choir, but she also wanted to play the French horn. So I had the joy of teaching Emma to play the French horn for like 2 years. She's a great horn player because she could sing. So she had no trouble with those upper partials,
and she can sing.
She can sing. She's really excellent. And again, one of those people that you just see and you just go, Emma.
There you go.
Sweet.
And who else? Now you have three
we have,
different.
Teresa Worth.
Okay.
Is Rosie, and if you haven't seen Teresa Worth on stage, I have to tell you, she's hysterical.
She was with you in Beautiful.
She was Lucille,
the
and
secretary.
Also the singer.
Yeah.
Yes,
she had me hysterical.
She's Rosie. I mean, Teresa is really, really incredible, and then Teresa Harris is Tanya. Again, incredible. She was the lead Shirella Beautiful.
The Shirella, yes,
okay.
okay.
Show. I mean, incredible. Both of them, incredible voices, off the charts acting. It's quite hysterical. And then the younger girls, I'm with the advanced ladies in this show. So the younger girls.
So we have Emma as Sophie, and we have Marisa Burr as Lisa. And then Allie Fitch is actually the character Allie.
Yeah, Allie is playing Allie.
Allie's playing Allie.
And I remember her from Beautiful as well.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 3 men in this? You have all ladies you named.
Yes, and the men are incredible. Go ahead, you talk about the guys.
The guys, like, it's a weird thing. Like in musicals, everybody expects the girls to just
dominate
knock it out of the park and
just dominate
everything. Yeah. And it's like the guys are always like secondary to the girls. The guys in this show are so good in their own right. Like each character, they're very different characters, but they're all so strong, both vocally and acting. Their comedic timing, like it's going to be a great show.
It's been a pleasure working off of them. So Ken Nyland.
Okay.
And Kyle Bader from Lockport, and Tom Priester.
Okay.
And I first worked with Tom when he was a senior in high school at Niagara Catholic back in the mid-'90s.
Okay.
And we finally got him back on stage in a show that I'm doing.
And isn't that what's happening with this theater group?
That's the
You're
point.
going out, you're bringing all these people back.
That was the original idea, and it's...
And the funny thing about it is when you bump into these people years down the road, they still have that passion. They still have that joy, and they want to give back to the community too. Very true. That's fantastic. Okay, so one more time, Tommy, when could we see the show? Where are we going to get the show? What are the ticket costs? What's going on here?
So again, November 6th, 7th, and 8th at 7 p.m. And then the following week on Friday the 14th at 7 p.m. as well, and Saturday the 15th at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at the box office starting an hour before the show. Tickets are $15 for general admission, $10 for senior citizens, and all students $5.
This is the first year I actually qualify for that senior citizen rate.
Hey, I've got my AARP card, so
okay,
I'm right behind you, bud.
All right. So that's Mamma Mia and Christina. One or two last thoughts before we end this.
No, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, this was great.
It was a pleasure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We're honored to be the kickoff episode.
Yeah,
kickoff episode.
First guest.
The very, very first guest, and we'll see what comes in the future here.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in to the Local Spin Podcast. I'm Lou Custode, where we go inside the minds of Western New York's most creative visionaries. We'll see you again next time.